Hey everyone, Dumont Owen here. It's another Wednesday at noon, and we are broadcasting. Today's topic is going to be how to communicate your brand on LinkedIn with a one-page marketing plan. And as usual, you can feel free to take screenshots. If not, I will be sending out the recording if you were registered, along with the PDF of all the slides and a copy of the one-page marketing plan. So you're going to have it all. But before we start, I have an announcement. And this has been something that I have been struggling with for some time. It's really, really serious to me. I have decided to take this group and all of my business off of Facebook. My reasoning is that, well, this is an ethical decision. Facebook owns Instagram, and they found there were valid reports, really serious reports, that Facebook has known and been doing research into the fact that young girls, 11 to 13, are suffering increased depression and suicidal ideations because of the way that they're seeing people on Instagram. I can't, and this is a huge source of revenue for our friend at Facebook. So I've had to make that decision. It's purely ethical. It's not a judgment on what anybody else does. I'll still be active on Facebook because I belong to some groups on Facebook, but I'm not going to give them my advertising or my money or anything like that. So this was just somebody saying, hey, we can hear you. It's okay, great. And that was going to be my next thing. But let me finish up here. I will keep the group on Facebook until we can get all of this done. And then I'll invite you to a private group on Kajabi that is totally closed. So pay attention. I'll be sending out word on that in the very near future. I also won't be using StreamYard anyway. And this is a good tip for any of you who have a Mac Pro. Chrome, StreamYard can only run on Chrome, and Chrome is overheating my brand new Mac Pro. I started trying to find out what was going on, because every time I did these live broadcasts, my computer overheated, and they finally told me, it's Chrome. That's the villain. So I can't be on StreamYard because it overheats my computer. So this will be, once we move off of Facebook, and I've got my computer right here, I'm checking it. I will also be changing from StreamYard to something a lot more friendly, and it runs through Zoom, and I can see your comments and all of that stuff when we're sharing. So hang on. The first time you've been with me, and you want me to be able to see your comments and questions, go above me and click. There's a place for you to click to let StreamYard see your comments on Facebook. Now, as usual, when I'm sharing my screen on StreamYard, I can't see any comments. The only and you can't see the comments that are in a group. So if you're in the group watching this, I can't see your comments. And I'm also doing it on Dumont Associates and YouTube, but they have a lag. So you can view it on the Dumont Associates company page on LinkedIn, and you can make comments there, but there is a lag. So here's the deal. I will come back several times during the day to check. You can tag me if you have questions or comments, because I want to make sure I get all of them. Okay, so I think we're ready to go. All right, let me share my screen. Okay, that should be screen 2. So let's see. Okay, hopefully you are seeing this. Just to go back to my fancy schmancy introductory page, you are on Communicate Your Brand with a one-page marketing plan. And this is going to be fun. You are going to learn so much in this broadcast. Okay, here's what's on the agenda. What is a personal brand? And that's a very definite thing. What makes a strong brand? What are the key elements of a brand communication plan? And how to communicate your brand on LinkedIn. And that's where we're going to talk about that one-page marketing plan. So just hold on to your hats. All right, just a little bit about me. If this is the first time you've joined me, I'm Dumont Owen. I could just say Dumont. We've never been able to find anyone else with that first name. And I help coaches who are career coaches, executive leadership coaches, B2B, any kind of coaches like that. I also work with B2B consultants and other professional service providers who operate primarily in the B2B arena. And I work with them to help them attract their ideal clients with customized lead generation systems and powerful brands. Now, the difference in the way that I work is that, well, I just got really sick as a coach on LinkedIn with being approached by all these guys. I call them the sleazy lead peddlers, or sometimes I call them the sleazy lead weasels. Either way, they send me this really nice invitation to connect. It seems personal. I accept it. I send them a nice welcome message. And what happens? I know you know this. Immediately, I slammed with a new sales question. And it just drives me nuts. So when I teach you how to generate leads on LinkedIn, I'm teaching you from the perspective of how to do it in a way that's built on building relationships and strong relationships built on mutual respect. And why is that so important? Because if you're in the arena of the B2B or even career decision making and those kinds of things, you probably either have high ticket services and programs or you want to have those and offer them. Well, somebody will easily pull out a credit card and plunk it down for, a $27 course or a $97 course, or even, a $550,000. No, they won't. A $998,000 course. Oh, I must have big visions in mind. So when you want to do that, you have to build trust. People are not going to plunk down $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 for a high ticket item if they don't trust you. And the only way to build trust is through building relationships built on mutual respect, just like you do in the brick and mortar world. It's really no different. The process is different, but what's behind it is not. So real quickly, I have an MS in Counseling and Human Services. I'm a master personal brand strategist, a digital branding strategist, and I'm certified as a career coach and executive leadership development coach. Now, I used to not talk about having a PhD because I didn't think it had anything to do with what I do. I was so wrong. My PhD showed me how to drill down and get to the real nitty gritty on specific topics. But you know what else has helped me? I worked as a 7th grade English teacher, and I had students who had all different kinds of strengths. So I had to break things down and be able to communicate them for different kinds of learning styles and make things very concrete. So it's that combination of all those things that make me unique. All right, let's move into personal branding. So what is a personal brand? Really simply, it's a unique promise of value. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, your brand has to be unique. It has to fit only you. There has to be no one else in the world. You show up and you stand out from all the other people, you know, who are promoting what you promote. Your brand is unique to you. It's a promise. And here we're talking about authenticity. You know, there are so many people out there who are inauthentic. They're promising things that are, you know, they're just phony. They're not true. Your brand has to be absolutely authentic to you. You know, 100%, because it's your promise. It's what you are giving your word on that you deliver, not just sometimes, every time you show up. And then finally, a brand shows value. And by value, I mean it is valuable to the people for whom it's relevant. Okay, if you're offering something that's really valuable, like if I'm trying to sell you, you know, a 360 Reach personal branding survey and analysis, but you have no interest in personal branding, you know, and you're in, you know, and you're not in my target niche, you're in my, you know, you're a nurse, you don't really care about this, it's not going to be valuable to you. And what do we call information that isn't of value? We call it spam. It has to be valuable to your niche. It has to be relevant to their personal problems. Okay, so your brand is unique. It makes you stand out from your competitors. It differentiates you from them. It's your promise. You know, so many people are inauthentic that we all know what it looks like. People really sit up and notice authenticity. And then finally, it's of value to your niche, the people that have the problems and the challenges that you're facing. Okay, what are the characteristics of a strong brand? Hold on a second. Okay. A strong brand is really clear. And by clear, I mean, if you told your brand statement story to a 7th grader, actually probably these days a 5th grader, they should understand it. That's how clear it has to be. It has to be clear enough to communicate to your nephew or niece or grandnephew or niece, I don't know, you know, or your daughter. I don't know where you are in life, but it has to be totally clear. It has to be authentic. We just talked about that. It has to be consistent, and this means that every time you develop content or put out an invitation or offer a program, whatever you do on LinkedIn, you want to make sure that it's on brand, okay? And so when we talk about branding, we talk about living in the inquiry, always asking ourselves, is this on brand or is it off? That's very important. Okay, it has to tell your story. You know, my story is about someone who fell in love with working with entrepreneurs when I was an executive director of a career center, and we had a lot of entrepreneurs, students who had entrepreneurial talents coming in. So I really got interested in what that was all about. I eventually, when I left higher ed, started helping women entrepreneurs in a local business center. And that's where it all started, where I got everything started. I tested everything, I ran it by, I helped them and made sure that it really worked. And that's my story. Okay, your expertise. Your brand is going to establish you as an expert, or the popular word is thought leader, or even an influence in your niche. So it communicates your expertise and it communicates value. We just talked about that. So when you're making your communications plan on LinkedIn or for LinkedIn, there are certain things that go into a communications plan. So let's talk about that before we get into how to do it on one page. Okay, it has a target audience. Now, we talk a lot about niching down and customer avatars and client avatars and all of that. That's hard, and you're going to have to do you absolutely are going to have to do some calls and talk to the people who are really in your narrow niche. But if you're not there yet, at least get clear on your target audience. You know, I know that even if I weren't niched down at all like I am, that I could still fall into that that coaching or into that target audience that's, you know, what do they call it? Professional coaches and training on LinkedIn. I can still fall into management and consulting. So you want to know, you know, where your target audience could be. So you may not be able to niche it down as far as I only work with coaches who are in, you know, career executive leadership or in the B2B area. You know, or I actually have some health coaches too. But, you know, if you don't want to niche down that far, at least get clear on your target audience. Okay, goals. Goals are so important, and here's why. You've all heard about how to set up a SMART goal, how to create SMART goals. You know, they are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So those are your SMART goals. When you set those SMART goals, that enables you to set your metrics, how you're going to figure out what you're doing, you know, how what you're doing is really working, you know, so that you can go back and tweak and do all those kinds of things. Your goals are one of the elements of your strategy on LinkedIn. Your goals are very important. You're going to want to be really clear on your brand, on your goals, and on your niche or target audience. You're also going to get clear on your key messages. Now, this might not be too awfully hard right now if you only have one target audience, but eventually you might have more than one. So you're going to look, if you already have niches, like I have coaches, I have consultants, I have other kinds of service providers like graphic designers, financial analysts, all those kinds of things, then I want to track, I want to map out what the key messages I want to communicate to them are, because all of those messages are really important. That's what we call message mapping. You know, figuring out the key messages that will promote where we're trying to go to our niches. Okay. A tactical plan. Now, what is a tactical plan and how is it different than a strategic plan? Well, your strategy, your strategic plan is, you know, looks at those goals and says, okay, in order to get to, you know, from point A to point B with this year, I am going to use these strategies. This is how I'm going to approach the process. These are my strategic goals, but how am I going to actually implement them? That's in your tactical plan. You know, strategic goals are more qualitative. Tactics are quantitative. Okay, so if I'm saying that, you know, one of my strategies is live streaming, okay, my tactical plan would include things like, or one of my things is live streaming. Well, that tells me, okay, I've got a format, right? And part of my strategy is where I'm going to promote it and deliver it and advertise it and all of those kinds of things. Your tactical plan is the actual things you do to implement it. You know, so maybe your strategy, my strategy is live streaming, but my tactical plan is doing it every Wednesday at such and such a time. And these are the kinds of things I'm going to cover. And this is how I'm going to measure it. Okay. Next is metrics, and that's what we're just talking about. Your tactical plan is measured by metrics. And what do I mean by metrics? Well, metrics are sometimes called key performance indicators. And they tend to be things that let you know how your plan is going. We'll go over more of that in a few minutes. Okay, and finally, you're going to have your communications plan, your schedule, how it's actually going to work. Okay. Now, clarity, we just talked about this. That's the first step because clarity leads to your strategy. So you have to be clear on your goals. I have niche, we've already talked about, that could be your target audience and your brand. And, that brand we just talked about, you have to be able to say that in a simple statement that would convince, that some seventh grader can remember. And your brand statement should be one sentence long, easily memorized, and like I said, clear enough for a seventh grader. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay, so let's talk about defining those messages a little bit more. What you want to do when you're mapping your messages to a specific target audience or niche is you want to come up with your 1 to 3 primary messages, okay? Maybe you only have one message. Maybe your only message for this group is, I help you create success in your life by doing blah, blah, and blah. Okay, that's a very basic kind of one. We're not talking primarily in the message mapping area today, but every primary message has supporting messages. So these would be like your topics, right? Your primary message for this audience and your supporting messages for them. So if your primary, let me think of an example. Okay, let's choose something really, really simple. And I don't even work with this target population, but I think it's easy to understand. Say you're a dentist and you want to get out a primary message, and that is, we are painless. We are pain-free. You're never going to hear a thing. Their supporting messages might be, our dentists in our practice are highly trained. Our dentists in our practice have an average of 15 years and include, dentists with such and such credentials. And our dentists are here to match whatever your needs are. In terms of, we can supply it all, but whatever we supply, it's going to be, yes, painless. Okay, that's a really poor example, but I hope I got the message across. Okay, when we're talking about metrics, those specific key performance indicators that are going to tell you whether you're achieving your goals or not. Reactions, comments, and shares. You know what these are on LinkedIn. This is when you put out content and people can react, comment, or share. Now, if you're really doing content marketing well, you're going to start getting some of that. And I'll tell you, my virtual assistant just this week sent out a bunch of LinkedIn messages that I had come up with. Or he posted my my LinkedIn article and invited people to this event. My profile views, which isn't here, but my profile views went up 400% in 1 week. Okay, so you want to look when you put out content at your reactions, comments, and shares. When people look at and when people see those things, you want to make sure that they see your profile. That's another metric that tells you that you're on brand and you're reaching people. Another one would be an increase in invitations to connect from your target audience, asking you to connect with them. That's a biggie. Invitations accepted. You send out invitations sometimes and they disappear into the stratosphere. When you're on brand and when you're marketing your brand correctly, you will get more invitations accepted. You're going to see that response rate go up. And then finally, and this is the big kahuna of all metrics, right? You're going to get more conversions. You're going to take leads and you are going to actually build a relationship with them and then convert them to clients. Because, you know, there are a lot of people out there talking about lead generation, but leads are not the bottom line. You know, leads are not the bottom line. The bottom line is getting them as clients and making money. You know, you absolutely are going to serve them to the very best of your ability. But, you know, the bottom line is getting those conversions. Okay, so what is included in your tactical plan? Okay, if you're building a communications plan on LinkedIn, your tactical plan is going to be about what formats you're going to use. Now, I'm really okay with video, but I also like to write, and I've recently been changing up my writing strategy, and I'm watching how that's getting a lot more engagement. So my tactical plan this year, well, I still include video because everybody loves video, and you really want to get on video because there are so many new cool things you can do with video on LinkedIn. So you're going to want to add all the different things you do. I send out tips on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, I either live stream or I post something. Right now I'm posting, and listen, guys, I'll just let you know right now. Right now, I just opened my offer to post any free lead magnets or events that you have coming up on, and I will post them in my newsletter and on LinkedIn, so that my 2,500 connections and my 3,000 followers will see it. So you're the first to hear. If you want that, send me a message at dumontandassociates@gmail.com and put Freebie Friday in the subject line, and you're gonna get your stuff advertised. So this, I just started this week, so you're at the bottom. Okay, also what channels you're going to use. Now, I'm on LinkedIn, but I'm also currently on Facebook, as we know, which is going to be, I'm going to not use Facebook for my business anymore. My VA is setting up YouTube for me and also setting up Kajabi so that I can use those channels. So I am revising the channels that I use. And then finally, you're going to want a schedule, right? A plan for when you communicate, you know, and what you do. You know, I do most of my content at least 3 weeks ahead. And that helps me use my content calendar, which we actually plan out for a 3-month period. I don't start getting real specific until we're about 3 weeks out. But I do have a communications calendar, and I talk about that sometimes. And if you want me to send you my content planning calendar, just shoot me an email. You'll see my contact info at the end of this presentation. Okay, so what's included in a one-page marketing plan? Because this is a process, okay? First, you have to clarify your goals and objectives. Then you have to understand your marketing strategies. You know, you're going to have to understand the benefits to your buyers. You're also going to include your primary messages, calls to actions, and buyer avatars or target audience, okay? So all of these are part of your one-page marketing plan. And what you want to do is just go through, you know, on your own, and you want to really get clear on all of these things, okay? You want to plan out your goals and objectives. You want to plan out those marketing strategies. You want to plan out the metrics. You want to plan out your target audience, your benefits to buyers, the primary messages, and remember those supporting messages. And then you never post anything, even in email or, to Facebook, if you're on Facebook, or to LinkedIn or YouTube. Anything you put out there has a call to action. Why? Because people will do what you ask them to do. If they're on your LinkedIn profile, they'll follow what you say. They'll do what you say. If they want to know the next way to get more involved, that's your call to action. So you never want to miss that call to action. That's going to be things like subscribe to my newsletter, sign up for a free consultation or strategy session, get my free gift, whatever that is. They can be a lot of different things. Hop on a quick call, or hop on a quick Zoom. Excuse me, I'm getting into mold season. And my allergies are starting to really act up here. So they only have a little bit more to go. Okay. In the resources I'm going to send you will be this one-page marketing plan. Now, when I teach this to my clients, they go through a whole process. There are worksheets and hold on, let me go back here a second. Oh, I never can. Okay, hold on. I have worksheets for them, and we go through an entire process that gets them to this point. So this isn't, I can't possibly offer it to everyone who's on this call, but I want you to know that this is not all there is to it, but you can hum along and get started with your first page, your one-page marketing plan with just what I'm giving you here today. So on the left, you're going to put your qualitative goals, okay? Those are those strategies, so your qualitative goal might be build my network to 1,500. No, you couldn't. Build my network or increase my network by 20%, 50%, whatever it is, my LinkedIn network. It might be building a following of, or increase my followers to such and such percent, or by such and such percent. So those are strategies. On the right side, you have your SMART goals. Now, SMART goals are tactical. They're not technical, but they're quantitative. You measure SMART goals. You do a quantitative measure. That's where your metrics will come in. You do qualitative analysis of your objectives, whether you're reaching them. Then you get into your marketing strategies, okay? Again, this is the qualitative part of it. How am I going to look at these marketing strategies and figure out what I want to see qualitatively? Well, it may be that you've been building relationships. You want to build more one-on-one relationships, or you want to boy, my mind's going crazy here today. You want to what are some of mine? Okay, I'm going to think of some of mine right now. You want to increase the number of people that you're serving online, and that could be, in my case, it's not just LinkedIn, but it's primarily LinkedIn. Okay, and then when you cross over here, you've got your metrics, those quantitative metrics that we talked about earlier, that will tell you how you're doing. Those page views, of your company page, profile views, invitations to connect. All of those kinds of things are tactical and they're metrics. Okay, then you're going to come down here and you're going to summarize who your customer avatars are or your target market. Okay, you're going to figure out what the best benefits that you offer, what the best benefits are that you offer to your potential clients. What do they get out of working for you? What would they see as really, really important? Well, people, who hire me, really want to build a sales funnel on LinkedIn. So, I can talk about all those different kinds of specific benefits that are related to that. You're going to have specific benefits that your buyers will experience. Objections. What are the common objections that people have to buying your services? There are some that are really, really common. I don't have the time. Well, the most common one is I can't afford it. That's seldom the real reason. We all know that. So I can't afford it can actually mean I don't know you well enough. You're not hitting me as a priority right now. It can mean I don't have the time. And a lot of people will tell you that. My first launch, and I tried it twice, was for a 90-day program that included, weekly group sessions plus individual client meetings and on and on. And I was explaining the theory behind it and, all this great stuff. I'm an academic, I'm a PhD. I love going through all the theory, but this isn't the place to do it. This is the place where you want to give people the most bang for their buck. So I have reduced my course to 6 weeks, 60 days, build your sales funnel from soup to nuts, done. Okay, so you have to look at the objections that people are giving you. And then that's when you decide what your primary messages are. Why? Because your primary messages are going to overcome those objectives. You don't have the time. Well, I could say to somebody who doesn't have the time to go out and get more clients. I mean, is there anything more important than that? I could just say, what's more important than getting clients and making money? Not too many things. You can do the same thing. What's more important? You have to understand their objections and then address those in your messaging. Got it? And then you're going to, yes, include your calls to action. And I have very specific calls to action that I create. And that's the way it works. My call to action these days is I'm going to be launching that 6-week course in mid-November. So everything I send out right now is moving down that funnel. Got it? Okay. Now, questions or comments? But before I do that, I am going to, and this is another free thing. I'll send you the link to download the Essential LinkedIn Profile Checklist. And I forgot to add the picture there. So none of us are perfect. Okay, and then finally, this is how you can get in touch with me. So if you are writing me for Freebie Friday, and I just told you that email is DumontAssociates@gmail.com, and put in the subject line Freebie Friday. But any other time you want to connect with me, well, you can connect with me for probably another month or so on Facebook. You can download the Essential Profile Checklist, and there is the link. So you can get that, You can invite me to connect on LinkedIn. Tell me you saw this webinar. I'll connect instantly, because that's how you connect with people on LinkedIn. You tell them something personal. And then finally, you can email me at my personal email, dumont@dumontowen.com. So with that, I am going to stop sharing. Hold on a second. Do I have to get this? Hold on. I have to split my screen when I do this. So stop sharing. Okay. So let me go over. I'm not seeing any. Oh, hey, Angel. How are you? Nice to see you on board. Are you viewing from the Facebook group or the Dumont and Associates page? Oh, okay. I'm going to go over and also check the Dumont and Associates page. And like I said, there's a lag here. So if you made comments here, I can see them, but there's a big lag. So let me go back over to the group. Hold on a second. To StreamYard. Angel, I'm not seeing you there right now. This has been one of my frustrations with StreamYard, is that I can't see the comments. So I'm so excited about being on Zoom, because then I will be able to get all your comments and questions as I go through. So listen, everybody, I am so happy that you're registered for this. If you're not live, then just watch. Sometimes it takes 48 hours to get everything out, but I will send you the PDF slides. I will send you the recording. I will send you the link to the LinkedIn profile checklist. I will send you the one-page marketing plan template, and you're going to have all of that. I want you to have this information whether you're live with me or not. Okay, so I'm not seeing any other questions here. I'll run right back over to Dumont and Associates real quick. No, they're not showing up yet. So I'm going to give you my send off. This is Dumont Owen. Ta-ta for now. Bye.